Hi, everybody. My name is Ali Neander, and I'm living in Frankfurt, Germany, the very place where I met Preston for the first time pretty much exactly 40 years ago. Um, I was an up and coming rock guitarist in a local band, and he just gotten out of the army and had a job as a musical instructor at a music center at a large military compound in the middle of Frankfurt. Back then, there were about like 30,000 American military personnel in Frankfurt, so it was a big thing. And he was, having these little bands, with very different musicians. Some were almost professional level, others just knew three chords on the guitar. And even back then, I remember him being able to somehow combine that and write stuff for, so it made everybody happy. Like the bebop alto guy would have like a tricky part, and the folk guitarist would have like his part, and it sounded great in the end. So even 40 years ago, there was a lot of like talent to combine stuff that I saw with Preston. And then in the aftermath of that, we had a little band together, and which was called Jive Alfredo, and where everybody contributed with songs, and Preston was like a very strong contributor. And even back then, you could see a certain style, like a nice combination of tricky chords, and there was always this fun factor about those compositions. I loved that, and it was complex music at times, but there was always a certain kind of playfulness. So, well, time goes on. We all have our lives, our careers. I played a lot of rock music. I did a lot of sideman stuff here in Germany, and you know, we every once in a while we met when he after he went back to the States. I visited him at his place and stayed at his place when I was living in New York for a while, and but it was, as life goes on, we then, after a couple of years, through social media, we got in contact again, and our children grow up, and we hustle, as musicians do, and then like 2 years ago, I had this idea, man. Time goes by, and I remember these special compositions, and I thought, well, it would be, why not? Like the internet makes it possible. So I asked him to send me a couple of his tunes. So we here in Germany, like my friends here and so on, we would work on them and then send them back, and that kind of stuff. And then came COVID, and everybody was stuck at home anyway. So I started to shop around or look around for folks that would have fun in contributing to something like this. So I asked a bass player from San Francisco, Aaron Jermaine, who had seen with Paul McCandless, if he had, was in the mood of doing something like this. And he said, oh yeah, fine, he sent me the stuff. And then of course we got Heinrich involved, Heinrich von Karnine, who was part of this original Jive Alfredo crew, and since then had, settled in Graz, Austria, became a professor at the, Jazz University. And I hadn't seen him since then, So it's kind of an unreal situation that you start to contact a lot of people all over the world. You don't have a chance to see them because you're locked down in your home. Anyway, so we started Preston, and after like half of a year, Preston started to send me all these like elaborate pieces, and I started to work on them, and got more and more people involved, and a good drummer friend of mine, Andreas Neubauer, who is a great guy, and also like somebody who you could call up and say, hey Andreas, I got something for you. No money, a lot of work. And he would say, yeah, sure, let's go. And then of course, otherwise that wouldn't be possible anyway. Um, yeah, so we worked on this stuff, and it turned out to be really interesting because, as I expected, the material that Preston sent me was really rich, and a big abundance of like influences. It goes from almost sounding like an ECM record to a Bootsy Collins record, and this is wide variety of styles, and always this playfulness, and it's always like it's never the same. Nothing is repeated like copy and paste. There's always a little variation, so you've got to be on your toes if you want to play that stuff. But that makes it, of course, much more interesting in the end. And so we had the time because of COVID. We sat at home and worked on it, and now we've come to a point where it's a piece of work actually, and I'm very happy about it. I'm happy about how it went, how the results sound, and how the whole process went, and I'm very happy about having this more intense contact with Preston now again, and with the other guys and gals, and yeah, we'll see what's happening now, but I hope you like it, and because it's great stuff. Thank you.